morning and welcome to Current Affairs segment. Thank you so much for joining us today and choosing Mizpah Television. My name is Grace Haron. This is where we break down the headlines and keep you plugged of what is happening. And I'm not alone. We are with Angela Kabete. Good morning.
Good morning, Grace.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
I'm also fine. Ni siku njema ambayo Bwana ametupa. Yeah,
for our viewers, a very good morning to you. I hope that you're doing well, and thank you so much for creating a time to join us for this amazing segment that is the Current Affairs. We're always here to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. So tusiwezani hadi wisho.
Yeah, that is very nice.
Tope
yanayojiri kwa sasa katika meza yetu ya habari. Yeah, and before we head on to what is happening, we can read the verse of the day and encourage our viewers today. Maybe you can read for us the verse of the day. It comes from Psalms.
Okay. And the verse of today says the verse of today comes from Psalms 34:10, and I read what it says. The young lions suffer want and hunger, but those who seek the Lord lack no good things.
Wow, the lions may grow weak and hungry. You know, the lions zinajulikana being the strongest and the fiercest creatures. Like hakuna a very strong creature like a lion. And so the Bible is talking of the lions may grow weak and hungry. Lions can also grow weak and they can grow hungry as even if they are as strong as they are known to be. So this means that no matter how powerful or resourceful someone may be,
still you need to rely on God.
Yes, you need God. Sometimes you'll be weak and you'll be weary. You know what? That's what the Bible is trying to tell us. Kuna watu huku nje wanajionanga sana at how wanajiweza. Wako na nguvu.
They can do it alone.
Yes. You know it all. But lions, they grow weak and grow weary. But those who seek the Lord, you know, this refers to people who intentionally pursue God. No matter your title, no matter how you feel like you are strong, or you feel like you're so mighty where you are, you need the Lord. See when the Bible inatuambia, because kama the lions, they grow weary and weak. That means even if you are, as long as you're a human being, you will grow weary and you will grow weak. But we are being reminded today that we should seek the Lord intentionally. This means trusting the Lord, Angela, praying to the Lord, you know, seeking Him and searching Him day and night. Actually, the name seek means searching for Him persistently, not getting tired. Yes.
That's interesting, and just a reminder to our viewers that God is the provider of everything.
Yeah,
in
very
every
true.
circumstances. You know, as you've said, you might have everything, grace, you know, but still you need God, because He's the source of strength each and every day.
Yes.
So to our viewers, continue trusting and depending upon this God, because truly He is faithful.
Yeah, because it ends and says that those who seek the Lord, they lack no good thing. As long as you seek the Lord, you will not lack anything, because you will make Him your shepherd, and that is the word of the day. And now we can head on to what is happening.
Yeah, because a lot has been happening.
A lot has been happening. I have the Daily Nation with me here.
I have the Standard with me.
Which is your top story?
And on the Standard, Grace, I can see here kuna mambo yanayoendelea, but it's something that has been there, Grace.
Yes.
They're calling them godfathers. They think godfathers have it. So let's figure out who are these people that are being called the godfathers. And they're saying that our public trusts, MPs yesterday did what they have long been accused of doing. Rubber stamping an executive decision, and it's in this time on the reconstitution of the IEBC. While the nominees may tick the boxes on paper, Parliament missed a critical opportunity to restore public trust by failing to meaningfully interrogate their political past. And they're saying a more probing vetting process could have gone a long way in assuring Kenyans that those entrusted overseeing the 2027 polls are not proxies. That is what they're saying. And ukiangalia hapa, Grace, kuna picha ya watu. I can see kuna, that is the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Also I can see kuna, that is the National Assembly minority leader anaitwa Junet Mohammed. I can see also there is the president here na kwa the president wameka logo ya, that is UDA. And then there is, that is Josephat Nanok, the deputy chief of staff. Then there is, that is, this is Francis Odhiambo Oduol, he's a lecturer. Then there is Hassan Nur, the former PC. And then kuna Erastus Ethicon, the ex Turkana County attorney. Then there is, that is Mary Karen Sorbit, she's a lawyer. And still there is Moses Mukwana Atulalala, oh my goodness, Alito Atulala, he's a lawyer. Then there is Fatima Abdallah, the former Lamu County board member. And then there is Musalia Mudavadi, he's the prime cabinet secretary and cabinet secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Diaspora and Affairs. And now, Grace, what is happening here? This concerns what has been happening, things to do with the IEBC. And let's check it out. That story is in page 4. Let's check it out. They're saying that House teams gives 7 nominees a clean bill of health to take over IEBC. And then but a court order bearing their gazettement standards on their path of anniversary towers. And they say the fate of the 7 nominees for the chairperson and commissioners of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission is now with the courts after the National Assembly yesterday approved them. Unajua walikuwa wamekataliwa kwanza, giving various reasons as to why they think that they don't qualify. But it seems here, Grace, things have changed kwa sababu wamechaguliwa. And then they're saying that the House adopted the report of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, which gave Erastus Edung Ethicon the nod as the IEBC chairperson. Then there is Anne Jerun Derito. Then kuna mwingine anaitwa Moses Atulala. Then there is Mary Karen Sorobit and Hassan Nur Hassan, Francis Odhiambo Aduol, Fatima Arafat Abdallah, and commissioners, despite the objections of their nominations arising during their vetting last week. But they're saying, however, the court bearing their swearing, it means that the hopeful will have to wait for another clean bill of health from the courts. In its report, George Muragara, that is the Raka MP, led the committee cleanse them away of any stain and set up to take control of the country's political future in the next 3 years. And they're saying the nominees have demonstrated deep understanding of the affairs of the IEBC and the respective roles of the chairperson of the IEBC. So how ndio wamepitishwa, Grace? And people are really waiting to see what they are going to do. Especially when it comes to do with the IEBC. You know, IEBC is one of the critical parts because it involves things to do with the elections. You know, but I'm wondering, walikuwa wamekataliwa, and you know the National Assembly ndio walikuwa wamekataliwa, and the National Assembly ndio walikuwa wapitishe. But the MPs are the one who did this job, you know. But if they have entrusted them, Grace, that's a good thing. And then they're saying, at a glance, they have violated something here. And they're saying doubts over impartiality of the IEBC, of the new IEBC nominees. And they're saying the IEBC chair nominee, Ethicon, the county general, Ethicon, county attorney to Josephat Nanok, Turkana, in Turkana. Then there's Anne Ritu, she was the registrar political parties and faced claims of powerful hand pushing her up. Then kuna Moses Mukawana, the legal counsel to the defunct ANC and close ties with Mudavadi. This is the reason they are in your wamesema they don't qualify, because mostly unapata they were involved with politics. And then there is Hassan Nur, brother-in-law to Junet Mohammed. And then there is Mary Sorobit, served at UDA party and she's still a member. And unajua before uingie kwa ikiti, Grace, unafaa uko cut ties with things to do with politics. But hawakuwa wametoa yeah, ukwe neutral. But you know what happened? That is in June 3rd, the 2025, Grace, they had been recommended for kulikuwa na approval of the 7 nominees, and then that is in June 4th, the National Assembly approved the nominees. So let's see what they'll do, right?
Let us see the work they'll do. Kama wamekuwa entrusted,
especially by the MPs.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know the MPs are representatives of the citizens. Yeah, so let's see what they'll do, because you know IBC is a crucial steps towards ensuring integrity, especially when it comes to elections, of appointing the leaders. That is what we had to do.
Actually, that's very still on page 5, and people can go and read on the Daily Nation. Yeah, and talking of the MPs, there's my top story here. It's about the MPs. MPs punch 6 billion shillings hole in school budget. Yeah, the government faced a backlash for withdrawing an examination subsidy, prompting MPs to restore a fraction of the budget, 5.9 billion shillings, sparing parents the extra fees burden. But the lawmakers, in a typical fashion of robbing Peter to pay Paul, have raided the capitation allocation for schools. So, mambo, it's the MPs, they have raided the school capitation to fund the exams. Na hapa tunaona kuna some statistics kidogo. Inasema public schools lose 5.9 billion shillings capitation to fund administration of exams, and they say 3 billion shillings cut from secondary schools, 2 billion shillings slashed from JSS, 900 million shillings reduced from primary schools. Sasa pesa zinaanza kureduciwa. Na wanasema, let me read the story here. Lawmakers move to reduce capitation is likely to affect learners from poor families and strained schools, which have been complaining of serious financial constraints. Let's see what the story says. In a case of robbing Peter to pay Paul, MPs raided the capitation for learners in public schools to finance examination administration and invigilation in the 2025-2026 budget. Examination administration and invigilation in public schools require 11 billion shillings, but this had not been allocated in the National Treasury's estimate. But why had they not? Mbona hawako wameallocate kwa National Treasury na wanajua it is very important. So prompting MPs to reallocate some funds from schools capitation. In a report on the estimates, the Budget and Appropriations Committee, BAC, of the National Assembly reduced the capitation for schools by 5.9 billion, secondary school by 3 billion shillings, junior school by 2 billion shillings, and primary school by 900 million shillings. Misikia pesa zimeanza kukua reduced, sasa zimeanza kukua reallocated. Sijui kama ni pesa hakuna kwa country yetu ama ni aje, na wameanza kuaffect na this sector ambayo ni education, it's very critical, as we always say. While the MP's move is part of fiscal consolidation measures aimed at balancing the 4.2 trillion budget for the next financial year, the reduction in capitation will affect learners from poor families, as many of them depend on these funds for their education. And that is so sad. Juu kwani ni mipango hakuna kwa country yetu ama ni aje? Because hivyo tu out of nowhere wanaanza kureallocate pesa, zenye walikuwa wamepanga hivi ndo zinafaa kuenda, hizi ndo zinafaa kuwa hivi, sasa zimeanza kukua reduced and all that.
But you know, Grace, I really don't know what is happening when it comes to the industry, when it comes to education, because since January this year, Grace, education sector has faced a multifaceted crisis. And let me highlight what has been happening, that is from January in the education sector, so that ujue kwa hii budget yenye that is supposed to be right, that is in July 1st, wanafaa consider the education sector because it's affecting a lot of students. Many people have been affected, Grace. You know, January tuliona the financial constraint in capitation delays, kulikuwa na delays, especially when it comes to the CBC sector, Grace. Walikuwa wamesema that they have released, the government, you know, public schools, they were grappling with a significant funding shortfall, especially kwa mambo ya CBC. And then the government owes approximately, that is 64 billion in capitation areas, leading to lead to operational challenges such as unpaid staff, salaries, walimu wakwa melipo, Grace. You know, na ilileta mambo mingi sana, especially hata iko imelipia mavitabu za kwenda kwa CBC. Vitabu hazikuwa zimefika kwa mashule. Madarasa hazikuwa zimejengwa, especially in January. And people ask that it is in January. Mbona classes hazikujengwa? That is in December. And then that is in February, Grace. The Ministry of Education, they reported that is 43.4 billion budget deficit. Affecting critical programs, including a free education initiative, examination administration, and the school feeding programming, and then later aimed at supporting 2.6 million learners in the arid and semi-arid region, facing that is 4.21 billion shortfall, jeopardizing its implementation. That is in February, Grace. And then kulikuwa na things to do with the labor and staffing changes. At the sector, they had witnessed a significant labor unrest. That is in April. Over 50,000 intern teachers boycotted classes, citing poor remuneration and working conditions. And then that is Kabete walipeana, that is a notice, yes, right. So I really don't know what happened. I think they sat down wakongeleo maneno, Grace. And then the teachers still complained things to do with insurance. The insurance equal renewed. You know, still that comes to the education sector. That is in February. And then tuliona time kulikuwa na mvua, Grace, natural disasters impacting education. And you know, the government walikuwa wamesema wametenga, that is pesa ya when it comes to natural disasters, when it comes to the rains. They say they walikuwa meka about 60 million, but hatukuwa na hii pesa ikitumika. Tuliona the students who didn't go to school because of the floods. But the government still walikuwa sema to make a kando, that is 60 million. Hii pesa ilienda because ilienda wapi? Because you know, if that money is not used, Grace, what will happen? Itasukumu in the next year. Waseme pesa ikutumika. And then when it comes to the higher education, you know, the universities are facing crisis due to the budget cuts and high uncertainties, you know, and the State Department of Higher Education and Research is confronting that is 122.1 billion funding gap. That is the 2025-2026 fiscal year, threatening critical operations in the development projects. Na mambo ya health, because unajua si wanafunzi wote wamepokea health grades. That is when it comes to the education of but we really don't know what will happen, Grace, because wanafaa angalie mambo education.
Because unaona hata JSS sasa ndio wameanza that system, alafu kuna I can't remember kuna system fulani walisema inatokea ya wazazi kwenda kuangalia mambo na watoto wao kwa system. Na pia inahitaji pesa.
It really needs money, Grace. But you know, the National Treasury, they are tasked with the budget allocations, and they're saying currently they're under scrutiny for delayed disbursements. Na tunafaa kusoma the budget. Now we really don't know what will happen. And we don't know wakikaa chini ongelee mambo ya development, Grace. These are the things that you're supposed to see happening in the education sector. You know, things like state house infrastructure, state house renovation. These are things that can wait, Grace.
Actually, there's a story here about
concerning state house.
Not really a state house, but the DPs on my page 6 of my Daily Nation. Costly repairs at DP's current residence. And it says in Nairobi, Leafy Karen suburb, the official residence of the deputy president has quietly become a revolving door of expensive cosmetic makeovers, with taxpayers footing the bill. Actually, they say that money needed for renovations at State House and other state lodges, it has increased 300 times from 50 million shillings.
This is a Grace.
Na hapa DP anasema there was a need to dignify the residence of the deputy president because people meet here, such as ambassadors and other respected dignitaries. We found broken taps. Most things were not working. Mr. Gachagua defended his office in October 2024. And so right now it's all about wanataka kurepair DP's current residence. Za wananchi.
Pesa za wananchi. Pesa za nani? Unajua kama ni pesa yake ya mfuko, Grace, because is the one anataka renovations zifanywe. Ni pesa za nani zinatumika, Grace?
Could increase na 300 times from 50 million.
That is a lot of money. Hiyo pesa ingepelekwa kwa education, Grace. Alafu tena waiweke pending when it comes to the renovation. Waiweke pending. Waseme these are things that we can address later. Let's talk about, priorities.
In our country.
We really don't know what is happening in our country, because you know the president has got the 50+ advisors, Grace, you know. wakimake is a decision, what do they think?
But do you think, okay, what they are saying here, they found tabs as the work, like kinda state residence ya DP inaweza kaa hivyo vyote ikiwa tabs hazifanyi kazi.
Tabs za maji. Really? That needs it taps grace.
Yeah, like I'm like asking, kwani how can tabs hazifanyi kazi? Kwani nini?
Kuna watu wanatengeneza tabs huko nje grace itapitisha 2000.
Actually, here the caption says Gachagua sought an extra 660 million shillings for renovation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We have to see.
Stories on page 6.
Kenyan citizens out there, how are you feeling about this? You know, watu wame wana feel aje Grace?
Yeah, wanafaa watuambie what they think about that. Yeah, because priorities and we need accountability as well and transparency. Unajua tusisikie tu pesa unajua tunasikianga tu billions millions zinaenda, lakini hatujui kama hizo pesa kweli zinafanya hiyo kazi.
Hizo zitafika Grace, but hizi zingine things to do with school capitation unasikia zijafika.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking of priorities, Grace.
Yes.
And now let's talk about the finance bill 2025. Watu wamengoja sana Grace, you know. The finance bill 2025, that is page 6 of my daily of the Standard. And they're saying that tax proposals in that is 4.24 trillion budget seen to cut household spending. So, walikuwa wamesema things zitapanda juu. Things will not be expensive in this fiscal year that you're expecting, the 2025-2026. But things are changing. What is not happening? You know, what should Kenyans expect? Let's see what they're saying, Grace. They're saying that raising taxes risks are backfiring by reducing rather than boosting government revenue. That is what they're saying. Despite the claim that this this finance bill is friendly, the Treasury is yet to fully explain its impact to Kenyan citizens. Because in kusema wanasema, but kwa mwananchi impact ni gani, Grace?
Yeah.
An analyst has urged the National Treasury to ensure that Kenyans have disposable income left after paying taxes. Because you saw watu wengi wamekuwa complain, Grace, especially watu wenye wako kwa payslip.
Yeah.
That pesa yenye tunabaki nayo ni kidogo sana. You know, the government taxes ni mingi sana. Pesa yenye tunabaki kwa wananchi wasema pesa yenye wanabaki nayo kwa payslip ni kidogo sana. That's why they're saying that an analyst has urged the National Treasury to ensure that Kenyans have disposable income left after paying taxes, and called on the government to be more considerate when it comes to enhanced taxation. And political economist and former Senator Billo Kero warns that increasing taxes could backfire, resulting in lower and not higher tax revenue in the country. You know, because wakipandisha vitu country in the country, Grace, if things becomes expensive, Grace, purchasing power itakuwa chini, Grace. Na hapo ndio the government wanataka wapate pesa. Nani itakuwa affected? Ni wananchi tu. And if Kenyans are being affected, then it means that the government hiyo pesa yenye alikuwa amepanga wapate, Grace, hawatapata. Because the purchasing power is low. And then they continue and say, for businesses and the public, it's not about the revenue. It's about what is the impact of the finance bill 2025 on their life. And they're saying, what is the impact on my cost of living? That is what he posted while speaking on Spice FM yesterday, Grace. But we really don't know if this the 2025-2026 budget, because highlights zinatokea kila siku. Unapata ya jana ifanani na leo, ya juzi ifanani, like things are changing each and every day. Unapata education ndio amount yenye ilikuwa imepatiwa, then you get there's a slash, you know? Reallocation and all. When it comes to tuseme kama mambo ya agriculture, pesa yenye ilikuwa allocated, unapata things are changing. But we're asking what is not really happening, because but I don't know if the public participation you know, Grace, because it affects watu wengi sana. Yes, but we will wait and see the final one. Hiyo ndio tatuambia where we are heading as a country itself, you know, because ini mambo ina affect wananchi, Grace, especially when it comes to the budget itself. And then that is, I can see here wameandika, highlight that is the budget size the last 5 years. Let's see, that is in 2019, Grace. The budget ilikuwa itumika for the fiscal year, that is the 2018-2019 the fiscal year, ilikuwa that is 2.8 trillion. trillion. And then it comes to that is the 2020 ilikuwa 2021 ilikuwa 2.71 trillion. And then when it comes to the 2022 ilikuwa 3.03 trillion. And then when it comes to the 2023 ilikuwa 3.3 trillion. And now that is the 2023-2024 ilikuwa that is 3.6.8 trillion. And now when it comes that is the 2025-2026 ilikuwa 4.24. So it is this fiscal year that the 2025-2026 hiyo ndio iko juu sana. But what is its impact to the Kenyan citizen? You know, and that's why now it's not about it being high. What is its impact to the Kenyan citizens? You know, and they're saying that it is he was speaking yesterday, the Senate body, however that is the body that is the National Treasury and Economic Planning Cabinet Secretary, John Badi, speaking yesterday, concealed that the government is at a point where it cannot impose more taxes on Kenyans. But is that really happening with what we're seeing, Grace? You know, because imagine if the education sector is high, Grace, mwananchi atarudi kwa mfuko.
Yes, kwanza hapo kwa public schools, tunaona watoto wengi they in public schools.
Yeah, so ni kama like taxes is not indirect. Can you say that? And then anasema that cannot impose more taxes on Kenyans. We have not made major changes in the taxes that will disadvantage the taxpayer in terms of reducing their disposable income. He was answering these questions from senators, including one of the who claimed that the treasuries are veering from proposing new taxes measures was an account of disease protests that is last June. So could we say that what happened last year, it's given them in check from kupandisha, that is the taxes? Can you say that is the reason, Grace? And they say it is credit to those Gen Zs who struck their fear of God in government, and they will not attempt to bring any new taxes. That is what Sifuna said. But are we sure to pandisha taxes indirectly? That is the big questions. And then Badi admitted to this. He said nothing Nasema no taxes for the finance bill was partly on the account of Gen Zs, but at the same time he does not believe that higher tax rates would necessarily lead to higher revenues. Nasema I believe the government is also sold to the idea that we are the point where we have reached and we cannot go further to reduce disposable income. He said, adding that the government has started evaluating possibility of lowering pay as you earn. Okay, this might happen. Okay, let's see if it happens. Pay as you earn, corporation tax, but decided to first complete reforms at the Kenya Revenue Authority before considering reducing tax. And some in the budget of the next financial year, key sectors like health sector, security emerge as significant winners with boosted allocations. You know, we're saying that the health sector and they emerge as winners, Grace. But you know, we've seen them complaining a lot when it comes to the health sector. So we really don't know kama the health sector, because you know the health sector wanafaa kuangaliwa, Grace.
Wamekuwa wakistrike, I don't know now, maybe
this January, Grace, kumekuwa na SHA. The private sectors waka complain that, you know, SHA is not functioning well. They complained, and then bado tukaona kumekuwa na labor disputes and strikes. You know, when it comes to the healthcare, that is in January 19, Grace. Kumekuwa na labor disputes when it comes to, because the health sector, the healthcare workers, they are expressing dissatisfaction. Then to corner doctors union, they issued that is in February 30 days notice ya kustrike. Then to corner madawa za HIV zimepungua, Grace. You know, watu wengi wakakuwa affected na hizi madawa zikapanda na mwananchi ndio alikuwa affected, Grace. You know, we really don't know what will happen, but at least wanasema the health sector ndio imeangaliwa sana. Still bado kuna Linda Mama, which wanasema that Linda Mama unajua imekuwa ikisaidia especially women when it comes to the maternity, Grace. Na we saw yesterday wakisema that Linda Mama hakuna pesa imekuwa allocated kwa Linda Mama. So it me unajua Linda Mama ilikuwa ina offer that is free maternity services, which will affect many mothers. Yeah, but here akisema that the health sector might emerge as winners. Let's see what the reforms that they have made. And then akasema that however, county governments face a slight reduction in allocations. If the county governments have been affected, Grace, is infrastructure affected?
Definitely.
You know, the CDF. You know, really don't know, because they are not highlighting. And so the new budget firmly anchored in the better framework priorities, the human capital development and national security. And then education retains its top spot, taking that is 71.1 billion. And then there is 28.1% of the total budget are earmarked for the school capitation and teachers remuneration, Grace. So education wamesema ichukua pesa mingi, Grace. You know, kama ndio imechukua pesa mingi, mbona tunaona mambo ya education, mambo ya mtihani, Grace, walikuwa wanasema iko hapa. Yes.
Na tunaona hii reallocation hapa wenye the MPs wanasema hapa. Sijui mbona wanasema pesa ziko hivyo kwa education na hapa reallocations and all that capitation,
Because I can see here, they say the budget also reveals as strategic. The budget also reveals a strategic yet potentially risky shift in debt financing, that is the 2025-2026. Kwa sababu tuko na madeni, Grace, in the financial year. Alafu unajua we have the domestic and you also have the external. And then they're saying that in the financial year, let me repeat, the budget also reveals a strategic yet potentially risky shift in debt financing, that is for 2025-2026 financial year. 71.9% of new borrowing. We're talking about new borrowing. See madeni nyemekwa, Grace.
New borrowing.
The new borrowing. And then new borrowing will come from domestic markets, a significant increase from that is 53.7% in the current year 2024-2025. Like the government say they are doing domestic borrowing, Grace. It affects wananchi in this way. If the wanaomba uko internally, Grace, you know, wewe unajua you are a lender to the government. So when it comes to the citizens, the interest rates za pesa zenye wanaomba zitakuwa chini, Grace. Ama kama zitakuwa chini wakiomba, the interest za loans zitapanda. Kwa hivyo ni mwananchi atakuwa affected all in all. But still on the economy, Grace, I can see here the one that the finance bill 2025 will increase poverty. This is hard, Grace. It will increase poverty. We really don't know what will happen, because they're saying the target, especially the president, his aim is to improve the Kenyan citizens' life. You know, but they're saying that they're saying that it will increase poverty. Where are we heading our country as a country, Grace? Because wanasema that this wameongelea mambo ya VAT, Grace. Na wanasema VAT ikiongezeka, the production cost will be affected. If the production cost is affected, it means pia mwananchi atakuwa affected, because the price on goods zitapanda. So for our Kenyan citizens out there, how are you feeling about that? You know, what are your expectations for that is the 2025-2026 budget, Grace? What you know, when expect uchumi itaenda chini ama itapanda?
Actually napata naona National Police Service kuna rejected request 3.5 billion to recruit 10,000 police constables, 9.8 billion for police insurance, 8.1 billion for security operations, 767 million shillings for pending bills. Our new National Police Service peke yao, their requests have been rejected. Na hizo pesa ni mingi sana, especially for the security operations. Kama zita patikana, sio kama lakini polisi hawaja strike.
Is a strike, Grace, and also imagine mommy itakuwa affected.
Mommy itakuwa affected.
Insecurity, Grace. Imagine unaenda mahali you don't have the confidence because you're not sure anything might happen. Actually, there will be anarchy in our country, probably, you know, because people will be doing things the way they want. Away from that, do you have something?
Maybe I just mention when kumekuwa na clash between the broad-based government. Yesterday tuliona Raila Odinga na aki-critique kidogo our president. Na sasa naona hapa Siaya governor has been a harsh critic of the broad-based government. Anaonekana yeye anasikia hataki haya maneno. Yeah, actually acha nisome some few things. He's saying that the people are singing praises to the president. He's saying that you people are praise singing will not take us anywhere. I urge you to tell your leader the truth. Nasikia nawaita your leader. I don't do songs of praise. This country will go to the dogs again if the kind of language I'm hearing here continues. Na usisahau yeye ako kwa broad-based government lakini ana critique. If we have something being brought to Siaya, it is a matter of right, not that we are being given as a favor. Mr. Orengo charged. Days later, Mr. Orengo on April 17 wrote to the president respectively asking for a consultative meeting to discuss key development matters affecting Siaya County. Actually, hata jana tuliona Raila Odinga alikuwa amehighlight about 7 or 6 points akiambia anaambia the president aweze kuziangalia. One of them ikiwa ni ile ambayo alisema siku ya madaraka ya kusaidia watu ambao ama inatofanya nini kupea watu ambao waliaffectiwa ile siku ya mgomo ya finance bill ya Gen Z. So atujui nini inaendelea juu politics is politics. Broad-based government sijui kama itafika mahali ikatike.
I'm not sure because
I don't know.
Probably can you say that that Raila Odinga is still playing his role as the opposition leader.
He's playing his role, but sasa tunaona ya kwamba bado kuna mambo ambayo huko katikati ama huko kwa ground we are not understanding. Maybe hata tuone watamaliziana wapi. Yes.
And still on politics, Grace, I can see here that is Kenya Kwanza accused of playing tokenism politics. Okay, let's figure out wanamanisha nini wakisema tokenism politics. The DP Kithure Kindiki is the face of the empowerment program, programmers and dishing out millions, you know. Wanasema that he has made more than 40 trips to Mount Kenya region and dished out over 100 billion. You know, why Mount Kenya region 40 trips, you know. Ama ndio mimi inaitwa the big cake.
The big cake.
The big fish, you know. We really don't know, but let's figure out. I can see Upper Grace Bado, they have highlighted at a glance, they're saying that residents have benefited with at least 2 kg of dry beans, unga, and 250 shillings. That is what they have benefited. And then they say Kindiki has donated over 100 million in 2 months for his economic empowerment programs. Grace, it means that Kenya tuko na pesa, Grace.
Tuko na pesa.
100 million. You know, naja kwa uongozini for a long time. And they're saying in most instances, Kindiki donates 2 million at his personal contribution. Really? At his personal contribution.
Personal contribution.
You're going Grace. No. You know, because Apana Grace, because tuliona in the highlights of the 2025-2026 budget, Grace, jongeziwa mshahara. But what is it at his personal contribution? Like, no, Grace. What do you think about that? Is it a personal contribution, that is personal contribution at 5 million allegedly from President Ruto. And then they are saying areas that have not been covered by the philanthropic activities include the Nyanza region. And they're saying Kindiki's generosity that mirrors that let me repeat, Kindiki's generosity that mirrors that of Ruto when he was the deputy president. So it's a repeat, you know, can you say history repeats itself? And has seemed that donates at least 2 million, which he termed as personal donation, and an extra 3 million from the president in his small scale empowerment. So let's say at least they're doing a good job to empower people and the small SMEs. This is a good thing. Even the women, you know, that's a good thing, because when I talk about the women, that is in Naivasha, Grace, tuliona that Kindiki and his allies donated 50 million, and in Kirinyaga, that is 20 billion for over 40 women groups. So also they mean being empowered.
Wanaangaliwa vizuri.
Yeah. Lakini the DCP akuacha nyuma na yeye. Alisema there is no money for schools competitions. Our hospitals are mere shells and crippled by failed healthcare systems. Where there is no anasema, so where is empowerment millions coming from? That is what Gachagua asked.
Yeah.
You know, ajibiwe, right?
Yeah, ajibiwe.
Yeah, because answers are needed, Grace. Yeah, what I mean is and accountability, right?
Yeah.
Let's say the DCP are keep in check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Maybe as we conclude, what do you have to say to the Kenyan citizens?
To the Kenyan citizens, thank you so much for tuning in for this amazing segment. That is the current affairs. We are always here to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening, that is in our country and beyond. Just a reminder, there is something that is upcoming, an event that is the Sonship Summit 2025 that will be happening this June.
Yeah, from 23rd to 27th of June. Wow, imefika, ishafika.
Finally,
we have 3 days.
We've been waiting for it, right?
It will be a powerful time in the presence of the Lord. Anyway, if you are a minister, you know, a church leader, you are an usher, any kama unafanya kazi kwa kanisa. But anyway, let us say if you are a Christian, because this what will be taught here itakuwa all Christians, you know, and all ministers of the word of God. So we welcome all of you here at Mizpah House of Prayer.
And you know, this gathering is seeking to restore the sons of the hearts of the sons and the fathers together.
Yes.
So purpose to attend. For more information,
yeah, just contact 0727766553 for accommodation bookings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grace, Leonie, Thursday.
Yeah.
What do you have for us?
Leonie Thursday, tunakonga na Family Thursday. Yes.
Okay, so they stay tuned for Family Thursday,
yeah,
right?
Stay tuned for Family Thursday and more of anyone wanafaa tu wakae Mizpah TV always 24/7. We have amazing programs from Monday to Sunday that resonates with our viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much our viewers for being part of Current Affairs segment. Have a blessed day. God bless you.